Welcome to WonderCon, folks. Come on in. If you're here to pick up your badge, you are in the right spot.
So this has been the most unorthodox start to a vlog because it is actually almost 4 o'clock on day one. But the day has been insane, not in a good way. Attendees have been great though, and sales have been great so far for Friday. But I will let you guys know at the end of the vlog what's been going on. But happy WonderCon.
What'd you get?
The SoCal commemorative crochet flower.
Yes.
So cute.
Glad you like it.
Good morning for day 2. It is raining, and I think it's supposed to rain all day long. So we'll see how that goes. I wanted to quickly talk about yesterday, which was day 1, and I barely vlogged at all. I didn't even vlog an intro really. I just kind of talked to the camera when I could. But when we got in Thursday, which took us, I think, 6 hours to get down from Fresno, which usually it takes about 4, and traffic was horrible.
Horrible.
We hit road debris on the way down and damaged the front of the car, so that kind of set the tone. And then when we arrived to set up, we had 1 hour because we got there at 8 and they stopped letting people set up at 9. Had to pay for parking for 1 hour, $20. That was very frustrating. And then I was informed by one of my friends that they had heard that staff had been going around that day telling people with grid cube setups that they could not have their grids connect in the middle across the table. And I'll show a diagram right here of what I'm talking about because I know to some people that doesn't mean anything. And of course they came over and told me because that's how we set up our booth and they thought of us. So it was nice to have that heads up, but I was pretty upset about that. Sorry for the road noise and the rain. I was really upset about that because this is something that WonderCon did last year, but not to this degree, where they make up these ridiculous rules for the artist alley and implement them last minute. And then I stress out about it.
Yeah, you do.
Like, big time. So, like, I didn't sleep Thursday night. I didn't sleep Thursday night because I was so upset. I went into yesterday in a horrible mood because I was just expecting to be talked to by staff. No one ever talked to me, so it was all for nothing. And there's always the chance that somebody will come by and try and say something, but we've decided that if they do try to tell us to take our booth down or readjust it or anything, we're just going to go home, because there's no point in redoing our entire display, because every piece of it is there for a reason, for structure and for aesthetics, and it's not worth it for me to have a shambly looking booth that people are coming to expect to see the one that we usually have, and I'm not going to do that to people. So other than that, yesterday was great, and sales were good. Sales were phenomenal, actually, and attendees were really amazing. So we'll see how the day goes. It's going to be a much longer day. Today we're getting there, cutting it close. They let VIPs in at 9:30. It's about 9:16, and it goes till 7. So another long day, but I'm in a better mood. I'm fed, I'm slept, and hopefully the rain keeps people in the con and not away from the con. So it is about 2:30 and it is crazy busy. This is actually the first lull we've had in most of the day. So let me show you around the front and the back of the booth. So we are once again on a 6-foot table. We had to take down, I think, 2 of our grids to fit, and I mean, you can watch the prep vlog for that. That we are in very, very cramped quarters, end to end, as you can see. And we're not doing self-serve this time, so I have to reach down to get the pins and the keychains. We've got all of our bags. We've got snacks. We've got my snack. And we're being good about bringing our lunches, though I don't know where our lunch... Oh, he's using it as a lap thing. But we've been bringing our lunches. And got our cheat sheets up here. And it's going good. All right, we've got the front of the booth. I ended up taking my tag off the table and sticking it up here. But again, we built menu style boards like the good old days. And then all the stickers are self-serve. And we have only 1 blind bag left. This is definitely one of the bigger mushrooms. But I'm thinking that when I restock these, I'm gonna do different mushrooms. So it's like a phase 2. But that's the last one I have. A boy just got adopted, so he needs to have more boys out here. And we've got quite a bit of stickers selling. Our very cute, whoops, WonderCon exclusive. Sticker sheets and sticker books. It all came together pretty well. Final 30 minutes. Oh god, you can't see it. The final 30 minutes, oops, of day 2. I'm so tired, but we're gonna go have dinner with some friends and end the night good.
Look at all that meat with the best piece. Hello, everybody. Yes. So cute.
Good morning. It is day 3, Sunday. It is Easter, and it is really rainy outside. And I thought in the forecast it said it wasn't supposed to rain today, at least in Anaheim, but everything else I've seen is saying rain all day. So we're probably gonna pack up early just so that we don't hit a bunch of holiday traffic or bad weather on our way back home. But yesterday was amazing. It was almost busy the entire time, and I really don't know what to expect from today. And nobody talked to me about my booth. No, nothing happened, but I know other people who were talked to, and I just don't know if they're being choosy. But I'm just not gonna stress about it, because if somebody says anything today, it's like, it's the 3rd day. What are you doing? So, not you. So we'll see how the day goes. I don't know what to expect at all. I don't have very high expectations because of the weather and because of the holiday. So let's get in and see. Very stormy out there, but I don't know what direction we're facing, so I don't know which way it's going. So blustery day. So it is about 45 minutes since stores open to VIPs, 15 minutes since they opened doors to the public, and it is so slow in here. And I don't think I'm gonna feel bad about leaving early, but we'll just see how the rest of the day goes. 1:30 on Sunday. Those are my last two boys. Okay, so a week has passed since WonderCon, and I obviously didn't sign off. We actually ended up leaving almost at 4. We started packing up at 3, and I think the last clip I shot was me putting the last one sticker on the periwinkle, and that periwinkle sold pretty quickly after that. But yeah, so there's been a week now since WonderCon, and I've sat with my thoughts and my feelings, and I just don't know if I'm gonna do this show again, because everything that I talked about, even though I was afraid that I was coming across really upset and angry, watching it back and getting feedback from other people, they were saying that I wasn't coming across as angry and my feelings were justified. So I just wanted to reiterate real quick what happened. There were certain people, I can't even say certain people, there was a handful of miscellaneous people in the artist alley only who were spoken to by staff either Thursday during setup, Friday, or I think in some instances even on Saturday, where they were asked to change how their display was set up if they were using grid cubes. And here's that diagram that I showed before where basically they only wanted you to have towers and they didn't want them to connect in the middle. And from what I heard from other people who heard directly from the staff that talked to them was that it was a safety concern. And they were worried that if somebody came over and the display was going to fall over towards the crowd, that it would hit them in the face. Which is silly because usually the grid cubes are set up in a pretty structured way that, I mean, if it's gonna go, it's all gonna go, and it doesn't matter if it's connected in the middle or not. And honestly, I've had more backdrops fall on me in my own experience than a grid cube thing, but they were asked to remove that middle part, and it was only some people. Not everybody who had that was spoken to, because every day I walked around, there were people who had that. Nobody ever spoke to me, and we set up our booth exactly how we always do. But for me personally, it was very frustrating because to have come from a job prior to doing this full time where I was micromanaged and you always felt like you were about to get in trouble, like, I don't want that to be my experience working for myself at an event like this. I don't want to feel at any given moment that somebody's going to come over and hassle me about what I'm doing, because that's not why I'm doing this. And maybe I'm getting worked up. All of this may be cut. Basically, it's frustrating from an artist perspective because in the artist alley, we're already kind of like the lowest of the low on the totem pole. And to be hassled over things that other parts of the convention aren't being hassled over is frustrating. And don't quote me on this, but I also heard that this rule was not in their guidelines, that it was something that they were just pushing over the weekend, only in the artist alley and only to certain people. And I just don't think that's fair. And I feel like from an artist perspective, if the convention wants those rules to be, then they need to jury their show and they need to vet the artists based on what they're selling and based on their displays that they submit. Because it's not fair to be blindsided during the show about what you expect. Unless, I've heard that shows like Anime Expo and the big San Diego Comic-Con, you know, they're very clear on their rules and they will go around with measuring units and stuff and make sure you're in compliance. That's fine. If you know ahead of time how those things are going to be, that's fine. But this is the 3rd year I've done this show, and that has never been an issue. I've always built my grid display that way. I've always had stuff connecting over the top. I've never had an issue. So it's just frustrating to know that that was out there, that was happening, that it could have happened to me and it didn't, even though I had staff in front of my booth all day on Friday, pretty much. Nobody ever spoke to me. So it's not fair that the supposed strict rules were not for everybody. So that's just my 2 cents. And again, like, I don't know that I would do this show again because I don't like to be blindsided. I like to know what I'm getting into, and I like to go in and have a good time so that I can be personable with my clients or with my customers and just have a good show, because especially for Ryan, for Ryan to spend his free time out of his week and his weekends to come with me to these events and help me, I know that it's not even fair to him for me to be in a bad mood over something like this. Moral of the story is, if you plan to do WonderCon or San Diego Comic-Con or any of those Comic-Con shows, just know that these things, if you're in the artist alley, may be sprung on you if you didn't read correctly, or just, I don't know, depending on how they're feeling that time. But enough about that. I will save the rest of this rant for the Patreon post that I do about this vlog, and the next part I'm about to do is talking about my profits and expenses. So if you want to see not only all the all the dark thoughts that I have on how this show went, but also the real dollar amounts for what I spent and what I made at this show, check out my Patreon, join the tier that's $5 or more, and you will get access to all of that. So, on to bigger and better things. Here is the pie chart. And this show I've always struggled with because it's a lot of fun to do, despite, you know, tight quarters and the rules and stuff. But I feel like I always do well at this show, but because it's in Anaheim, it's always an expensive show to be at. I did manage to get my hotel cost down from previous years, but that was the only thing that I got down, because parking was more, because we paid to park Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Food was more because we went out a couple of times and spent a lot. The table costs stayed the same, but Ryan's extra badge went up from previous years, which I didn't realize until I put the pie chart together. Charging was probably a little bit more than I would have spent usually because it was a holiday weekend. And otherwise, credit card processing fees and sales tax are per my income. So we did pretty good. Like, I really didn't know what to expect going into a convention on a major holiday weekend. This is the first time I've done a convention during a major holiday weekend, and I was pleasantly surprised, especially considering there was so many other events going on. There was, I think, a one-day event somewhere down in the LA area. There was KawaiiCon in Hawaii. There was Anime Boston. There was SakuraCon in Seattle, plus whatever else was going on around the world. But all things considered, we did really well. I think the people who come to WonderCon come for WonderCon. They're not just out to do a convention experience. And part of the reason why I'm hesitant to call the show quits going forward is because I have people who come by the show every year that I'm there to see me. And I hate to do that to them. There's already not a lot of SoCal shows that we are able to consistently keep on our docket because they're hard to get into, and it's so much harder for us to travel down south from Fresno than it is to go, say, to NorCal. So I feel bad writing off a show that we enjoy for all the other reasons, and to take that away from the people who come to see us every time. So I still haven't made a decision, but please sound off in the comments if you guys want me to keep trying to come back to this show. I don't know that I would try a different type of table because they go pretty high, going from an artist alley table to any different tier. Like, it's a hundreds of dollar jump. But I also really like my little wall spot. Like, it has a good traffic flow, so I know that it's going to be decent for me. But it's hard to fit on a 6-foot table. It's hard to be in such cramped quarters where the tables are end to end, and you have to walk behind other people's booths to get out, and that's a safety hazard. But let me know in the comments what you guys think, if you think that the rules are justified from the convention standpoint, if you think that I'm justified for feeling how I feel about all of this. I'm glad we didn't have to pack up and go home because it turned out to be a really profitable weekend for us. But again, make sure you leave me a comment to let me know how you feel, and check out my Patreon for $5 more, where you can see more thoughts that I have on this show and also the actual dollar amounts. So without further ado, I have a couple of events coming up in April, and I, if I can get myself organized, need to have a shop update because I have all of these new products that I've made since January that you guys don't have access to unless you're finding me at a convention. So I'm thinking I might do it the middle of the month, but I don't know yet. Keep an eye out on my social media, and I don't usually plug this, but join my newsletter. Not only if you're a first-time shopper will you get a 25% off coupon for my online store, but I will definitely post something to my subscribers where you'll know immediately when I have an update coming. But after April, I don't really have anything firmly on the books until the end of July. So if there's not a shop update in April, then there definitely will be in May. So just keep your eyes peeled. We'll see how things go. I also genuinely need a bit of a rest, and just to not have to worry about something so time pressing and time consuming as con prep always is. So anyway, I will let you guys get back to your weekend, and I will see you guys next week in a studio vlog. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!
We make this even worse. It's gonna hurt.